Okay boys, welcome back. This is going to be another trade breakdown video for specifically how I traded around the time of 9:30, so the news driver at New York AM session on this day here, Friday, which was an inside bar. How did I know it's going to be an inside bar? And then how do I use it to project high of day and then trade the reversal back towards the daily open? Okay. So coming into the day, of course we need context from the current week, right? Week open here on Monday. We opened high first, so we have a bearish protraction, SMT at this high, and then we expand lower. What was the target for this week? It was this internal daily week swing right here, and when we hit that on Thursday but failed to reverse, so this is like closing near the target, so we've delivered expansion. What that means is we're going to see a new phase of price, right? And the phase of price I anticipate based on this Thursday's daily closure is consolidation. So if we're looking for a consolidation profile on Friday here, that means two things: inside bar and retrace back to the daily open. See this a bit more clear on the 1 hour. The daily candle here itself does not need to reverse off anything from the previous day when we've had reversal late in the previous day's candle. Does that make sense? So we see the previous day's range here. We have these AM lows engineered, swept during PM session, and we close back inside and expand away from this low. This now is a protected low at previous day's range, meaning this doesn't have to be taken in the next day, Friday here. Again, another consolidation signature is trading inside of a range. See how we have clearly this range here now. I'm expecting the daily candle to stay within that. The second point I mentioned about this day here would be price would retrace back towards the daily open. Now you can see 1800 here, day opens up. It's of course a protected swing. We open low first, but we don't put anything relevant in, like we don't trade away from anything relevant. I think this is unestablished low of day, but based on the large opposing run here, see this large wick on the daily candle, that doesn't mean this has to be traded beyond. It doesn't mean we have to put a new low in. All I'm doing is trying to find high of day somewhere around the news driver, time that, and then trade back towards something near the daily open. So large opposing run on the daily. We open low first, but this is irrelevant. Doesn't really matter. It doesn't invalidate a bearish expansion away from something high. So we trade. This is the manipulation of the daily candle. All I'm looking to do is trade back towards the daily open at 1800. What I'm going to do then is find something relevant, so a relevant swing or a relevant key level near that, and trade a lower time frame market maker sell model. Okay. On the 5-minute, we will briefly see that right here. So daily open, I'm not targeting all the way down here. It's not exactly necessary for me. So what stands out for me is this 5-minute engineered low inside a key level, and it's clearly a lower time frame market maker sell model, right? We have expansion, met with expansion, and then again we deliver a higher time frame key level, which I can see or can possibly frame a new phase of price being consolidation, like so, or retracement, meaning this is the point I want to TP at and get out of my position. Okay. So now we've established a narrative, we want to try refine our key levels, which we can see high of day confirmed from. Okay. Previous day's range, we see retracement in there, looking for an inside bar. Here on the 4 hour, we trade into this order block. Okay. Now the 2 a.m. candle on the 4 hour does not trade into that key level, but trades near it. Okay, so this becomes our anchor for reversal. That simply means that the next 4 hour candle, so within the news driver here, we must reverse off that high. Now, specifically from here, I'm not looking to limit above this. I want to refine a key level further on the H1, which we'll see in just a few seconds. But this is basic profiling, right? When this C1 trades into or near the key level, we need to see a reversal of the next 4 hour candle. Going on to the 1 hour, then When we're speaking about consolidation profiles inside ranges, then I'm looking for a retrace of a current OTE range. Okay, so like I said, the relevant range currently that we're in is this high, this low from previous day. Okay, and I'm drawing my OTE from that level. Now I have this level here on this day, 0.88, because it aligned with this order block inside here. So the deepest premium of this range, as we can see, is a 0.88. We actually trade up to there near perfectly with these highs pre-driver before seeing that manipulation lower. So just to reiterate, when the daily has opened high like this, and I'm viewing this as manipulation because I want to see high of day confirmed and then a return back towards daily open, especially in the context of the daily being a consolidation profile. So we're going to have an inside bar. I'm not looking at this as a target, and with the large opposing run, all I'm looking for is that retrace. Okay. What we're seeing then, sorry, that was a retrace of this daily candle back towards the open, and we're also looking for a retrace of this range back to OT to see the high of day, right? So what we're going to do then is wait for that retrace near driver, and then before 9 a.m. open, we're going to reevaluate and see where we are at. Now, if we look on NQ and YM, we can see this 8 a.m. candle closes a 2-stage. Okay, not the most ideal because the two different cracks and correlations were between different pairs. We had a PSP with YM right here. As we can see, this closes back inside the range as a reversal candle, and this closes a bullish expansion candle beyond the previous range. Okay, now without the higher time frame context of this daily candle, people may say, okay, this is failed to manipulate on YM. That means NQ must catch up. No, because the narrative of this day is, of course, bearish reversal, which means NQ is the weakest and reversing first. That means YM will simply catch up and reverse later on. Okay, so a bit of decoupling there, but you have to filter out this is not failing to manipulate, and actually YM is stronger, NQ weaker, so we're shorting the weakest asset on this day. Now, the second stage, crack in correlation, is this right here. SMT between NQ and ES. This is equal highs, which we'll get into also in a second of why this was protected. But we see the SMT here. Equal highs, of course, failure to sweep, so that's no sweep on NQ like this, whereas ES gives that sweep. You can see it a bit more clearly on the 5-minute right here. So here we have the same range for both pairs. This is no sweep. This is a sweep, okay? So a bit unorthodox where we have the 2-stage cracking correlation between different pairs. So SMT with ES and PSP with YM. But again, this is just confirmed high of day for me, right? After we've seen this displacement leg. Now, think about the narrative, is what we're saying. How do we know this is going to be protected even though it's equal highs? Well, we've retraced into the OT on the 1 hour. We've retraced into that hourly order block up inside here. And we're looking for that retracement of the daily candle. So it makes sense to have manipulation for high of day, free driver, and then we can see driver continuation towards the draw on liquidity. Okay. So now that's all that's left to do is look for a lower time frame framework and an entry towards the draw on liquidity. Okay. So I'm using driver pairing on this day to actually frame this. 2 parts to it, okay? Manipulation pre-driver, which means high of day confirmed pre-9:30. With that, we're going to see a driver continuation. See how we confirm high of day expansion before 9:30 market open, and then the driver, of course, expands as well. So we get a continuation of that towards the draw. This is being a protected swing, okay? The key level then is this M5 gap right here, and specifically gap fill. When we're speaking about OTE retracement, we can have different levels of discount and premium, okay? Inside a gap, the gap fill is the deepest level of premium, which I'm using here, and that specifically was my draw because it lined up with a 1 minute OT, which I also used. So this is number one, okay, which we've already established on the higher time frame. Confirmed hive day before driver means expansion. This is a protected swing. And then number two, we have retracement pre-driver equals driver expansion. So aligning that 1 minute OT with this logic right here. Okay, so that's our 1 minute gap fill. When we have retracement pre-driver like this, we see 9:30 opens up right there. We've already seen retracement pre-driver into the key level. Okay, what does that mean then? When we have this and manipulation already occurred from that key level right here, so you see this retracement manipulation, we have a valid reversal here, so you have an M1 reversal. Inside this is a C2 closure, and then that means driver will already expand away because we already see manipulation within this new retracement, right? 9:30 opens up, immediately expands lower. Now, again, looking for retracement within this 1 minute range, people may have said, okay, this is not a valid range because it's 1 minute, it's not a 5 minute swing, etc., etc. But this is the range I took, so deal with it. And it aligns perfectly with my gap fill and my bearish continuation narrative. Okay, so just to recap, 1 minute swing, retrace into OT right there, aligned with this M5 gap fill. We get a valid 1 minute protraction inside there, C2 reversal. So this is manipulation pre-driver, which aligns with 9:30 to open up, immediately expand lower. Now, with this logic then, driver expansion specifically on the lower time frame, that means we're going to see one-sided delivery at 9:30. Okay, what that also means is I can get an entry before 9:30 and hold through the open. So when I'm saying here, this is a valid C2 closure on the 1 minute, what I can actually do is get in before that and trade the protraction phase of this. So when the 1 minute opens high first, like this, and closes back inside, I can conceive, or I can anticipate this to be an M1 closure. Enter right here before the candle closes. We see displacement already before the open, and then of course we see that driver continuation on the higher time frame and the immediate expansion on the lower time frame aligned. 9:30 opens up, and then we see the delivery. People often get confused about how you can actually trade, pre-market open, but this is more than valid for me. When you see this up, often when you have enough case studies of it, and you simply can time the one-sided expansion around 9:30 when we have valid narrative. Okay, so we see the complete delivery of that market maker sell model right there, retrace of the daily candle, lower time frame expansion back towards the daily open here, and yeah, that is the delivery of that. Daily inside bar, hourly OB, hourly OTE retrace. We have a two-stage tracking correlation to confirm high of day. We have SMT with ES and PSP closure with YM. We have manipulation pre-driver, which means higher time frame continuation, and we also have retracement on the lower time frame pre-driver, which also means immediate driver expansion, and we have one-sided delivery at the open. Okay, really super simple recap. Also, another really super easy signature is when we have a slow grind higher like this, that often means we want to sweep, give displacement at the around the driver. Okay, so a little bit of a simple hack for you there, guys, but yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. This one was quite in depth, and all the driver pairing stuff can be a little bit confusing if you've not heard it before. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Link in bio for Discord, and thank you for watching.